I'm the computer man. I'm the Macintosh man with the virus scan. Moving your files all across the land. Some Photoshop filters in After Dark. Get your Microsoft Office, express your quark. Millions of colors with a VRAM chip. How about a system crash that'll make you flip? I'm the computer man. I'm saying Windows 95 is plug and pray. If it's fonts you want, you gotta go to MacWave. Log right on as my personal guest. You'll have Macintosh software on your desk. Send me an email with your request. If it's hardware you want, baby, I'm the best. I'm the computer.
Good evening, K-Squid listeners. Good evening, Santa Cruz, Monterey, Central Coast, and beyond. My name is Luigi Opido, owner-operator of Pleasure Point Computers, right by the beach here in beautiful Santa Cruz, California. And for the next hour, I am your tour guide into a world of wonder, magic, well, information and supreme frustration. That's right, we're talking about the internet and the world of computing. I am your computer man. Welcome to one of the most helpful, friendly tech counters you have ever visited. And I'd like to welcome you to your local Tuesday night, to your local radio station, K-Squid, KSQD 90.7 FM, also broadcasting live at 89.7 and 89.5 FM, and always online at ksqd.org, listening anywhere in the world this internet reaches to, which is more and more places every day. Higher, lower, in the water, up in space, everywhere it goes. We are here for you tonight, and I'd like to welcome you, everybody. Welcome to this Tuesday night. Welcome to your 6 o'clock hour. We are going to be talking about a whole bunch of computer stuff. So many things going on. The WWDC is coming up next week, and I think that's going to be one of the big things that we see, all the Apple things that are going to be coming out for the October, September time, when they usually launch all their new products right before the holiday season. We're going to be seeing a lot of new stuff come up next week, so I'm excited about that. It has some previews that we're going to be talking about a little bit, as well as some other things that we've just been hearing down the pipeline about some other stuff that's going on with Apple, with Microsoft, and everywhere in between. We're also going to be talking about a little bit of, going back and forth between Apple and Mac, or Apple and PC, also going between Apple and Mac. We're talking about some creaseless folding MacBooks, talking about how Best Buy is kind of having some hard times, and a number of scams that are going on, including a lady who thought that Elon Musk wanted to marry her, but didn't have the money, and so she had to put up some of it. So, yeah, we're going to kind of get into it here real quick. All right, but before we do that, I always want to say good afternoon to everybody, and always kind of go through the process of going, well, what if you listening, and wow, I just talk a little bit quick, huh? Because usually we squeeze about, 2 hours worth of stuff into this 1 hour show. So what do you do if you want to listen again? Well, let me tell you about it. Jump over to ksqd.org, our amazing online website. It could be offline sometimes if it's an offline website, if you're in an airplane or whatever, but it's always online. So it is a website that's online. It's wonderful. Great to see all the new things that are going on here at the studio, as well as the amazing things that are going on here in our community and beyond. But as well as seeing also some of the new shows that are out there, our schedule, and some of the incredible things that are going on, well, here in the studio, and see how we're doing. So, but while you're jumping on that ksqd.org and listening to that awesome Listen Live tab where you can listen anywhere in the world you have internet connection, we have our donate button. That's right. We can't do it without you. And we wouldn't do it any other way. We are here because of you. We are here for you. We want to be here for you forever. So hit that donate button, make it a monthly contribution, and make it something that what you feel is your fair share for what radio is and what we give to you. And we want to be able to give that to you. There's no other way that I'd want electrons to be flowing through this board without your cash, rather than some corporate sponsorship where we have to talk about something better, right? Because now I can talk about Amazon, I can talk about Apple, I can talk about all these companies because we're beholden to no one but you. So jump onto ksqd.org, give your fair share, hit that donate button, and we love you for it. I do. I love you for it. Thank you. Appreciate you. If you'd like to reach out to me after the show, you can always email me, Luigi, Luigi, at ksqd.org. But during the show, got to be a part of the magic. Check our dots. Boop, boop, boop. Yep, 2 dots running. That means our phone lines are open here at 831-900-5773. That's 831-900-KSQD. And we'll be taking those calls anytime tonight, as well as the amazing on-air at ksqd.org, where you can email me if you're a little stuck, you're somewhere you can't get to a phone, no problem. On-air at ksqd.org. Hit me over with a question, and we'll see what we can do with it. As well as, we do some other stuff. Let's do the phones, and let's do the online for tonight, and we can do both of those, and we can talk about them both together. If you'd like to reach out to me, mainly right now, the phone number 900-5773 is going to be the best way. You're going to go directly to me, directly to the tech. No phone tree necessary. Come right online, come to me, and we'll see if we can talk about what's going on with your machine together. But most importantly, what is this Computer Man show that you've stumbled across, KSQD and ksqd.org? What is this show all about? Well, we are all about updates, new devices, testimonials, scams, and most importantly, your call-ins, your computer, your technology, whatever it is, that thing that you spend $1,000 on that's not doing what the box says it's supposed to be doing. We're going to be talking about that here on the show, and I want to hear about it. What's going on with your tech? What's going on with your stuff? Why isn't it working the way it should? We want to figure it out together. So give me a call here, 900-5773. This is your show, your free call to Microsoft, your free call to Amazon, your free call to Apple. Right now, 831-900-5773, and I'd love to hear from you. We're here every Tuesday night from 6 to 7 p.m. And of course, you can always hit us up also on air at ksqd.org. All right, let's hit up some of these scams because I hate them, and they're awful, but they're important to know. So we were talking first about that lady, that 7-year-old lady who thought that Elon Musk wanted to marry her and couldn't afford the marriage, so she had to kick up some money to because there were some unexpected things happening. So so anyway, I wanted to read about this scam, and most importantly about the scam. It's kind of a sadder story about cognitive decline. I have a lot of family members who have gone through things like that, so I know it firsthand. But this is one of those things where power of attorney would really take over things, because this lady is she's basically getting phone calls from scammers who now have her phone number, who now know that she will hand money over. So if you are one of those people or have a family member that has fallen susceptible to a scam, that phone number kind of gets a gold star between the scammers, and they hand those ones around saying, hey, hit this person up, they'll fall for pretty much anything. We all just want to have our loved ones not spend all their money away. So this person, again, was being contacted by Elon Musk or Elon Musk's their assistant or something like that. So the current scammer is convinced that Elon Musk is going to marry her this December, and my mom is clearly planning ahead for this. She's been fabricating stories about my dad suddenly becoming super abusive, all these kind of things like that. Really weird. But this is the classic end game of, hey, I need the money right now, put the stuff up front, I'll pay you back. What is your account information, right? Let me hear all your bank routing details and all that kind of stuff. Weird, awful things. This person, again, the best thing you can do is speaking to an attorney about a conservatorship if we're really going to go that route. But again, the scam that we want to talk about here on the Computer Man Show is mostly about someone calling and just doing social engineering. That's what all these scams are now. They're not paying the people to write these incredible pieces of code that will break in past Microsoft security and get into your data. No, they just call you and say that they're the bank. Hey, I'm the bank. Give me your routing number information. The person goes, okay, well, you're the bank. Let me give you all my stuff. And that's it. That's the hack. I mean, it's back to the movie Hackers in 1997. Where they want to get into that one modem in the back room, and there's all these security protocols to get up to that one modem. So they just call the front guard and say, hey, can you go in the back room and read me that number? And so the guard takes his keys and unlocks the gate, unlocks that thing, goes through the door, unlocks the second door, puts in his code, gets into the back room, goes to the modem at the very, very back throughout all the network, and reads the phone number off the modem. The guy calls up the phone number on the modem, connects directly to the computer, gets the data that he wants, and he's out of there. It's social engineering. And that's the easiest way to get in now. Instead of writing code to say that you're the bank and fool the computer into it and have all this fake stuff, fake emails and all this stuff. No, just get the phone number, call someone, say you are the bank, and see if they test you. And if they don't, or if they do, move on to the next one. If they don't, you're making money. And it's really sad. We're seeing a lot of stores catch up to it too, about the whole gift card thing. People are like, oh, I'm buying a car with a gift card. I'm paying back the IRS with a gift card. You're like, you're paying the IRS $3,000 with Apple iTunes gift cards? When I say it back to you, does it sound strange? Yeah, okay. So you know what I mean? Like if it doesn't feel right, it's not supposed to be, because it probably isn't. There's a lot of that going on. It's all the social engineering stuff, and it's the third-party money transactions that can't go back. The reason why people do gift cards is because it's third party. You're not in the bank, you're not in the store. The bank would be the first party. Store would be the second party. You're buying from a third-party transaction through the second-party store using your first-party bank. So therefore, the money can't get back. It's gone through too many steps and it's gone. And that's why the gift cards are such a great thing for them. The other thing that's really big right now that I wanted to touch on, this is happening in a lot of the major cities, so like San Francisco, New York, but there's these crews of kids or young adults or whoever they are, and they're posing as a soccer group or a football group or a sports team or something like that. And they'll come up to you and ask for donations for their sports team via Zelle. Now, just real quick, Zelle is not Cash App. Zelle is not Venmo. Zelle is its own application that you can't download from the App Store, but it is an app. And the app itself runs inside of another application. You go like, wait. So Zelle will run inside like your Chase Bank app, or you'll enable it inside Chase. You'll enable it inside your Bank of America. You'll enable it inside your Wells Fargo account. And then the idea is then, if I go up to a friend and go, hey friend, I'd like to give you $20 for the single beer we had last night, right? 'Cause like $20. And they go, okay, cool. Well, you can just, I don't have Venmo. I don't have Cash App. But I do have Zelle. And they have Wells Fargo and you have Chase. Normally, sending money from Wells Fargo to Chase or from Chase to Wells Fargo would be difficult because they're two different banks. Even sending money from Chase to Chase sometimes is difficult if you don't have the right protocols and everything or the right permissions. With Zelle, it allows the Zelle to be the transaction back and forth. So you can send money from Wells Fargo to Chase or from Chase to Wells Fargo or from AT&T, from Bank of America to something else, one bank to another. So these dudes will come up to you asking for a donation to Zelle, and then they'll convince you to hand over your phone so they can type in the address. And that's what they're saying. Oh, let me just type it in real quick. So don't hand your phone to a stranger ever. Don't do it. There's no reason. They're going to be convincing. They're going to be talking to you. They're going to be telling, and you'll give them your Zelle, information. Oh, it didn't work. Here, let me type it in for you. And they'll take your phone. At that point, when they take your phone, what they'll do is they will instantly transfer $1,000 or $1,500 or $7,000 out of your account into theirs. Boom, gone. And then because of that third-party transaction, theoretically, it can't be gotten back. If you can cancel it, depending on which bank you have, you're good. But in New York, this one lady she lost a total of $7,000. And we say, oh, this is not a scam. This is somebody mugging somebody else in the 21st century. Remember in Back to the Future when that guy was standing out front of the clock tower? Hey, give me your thumbprint. Get $20 for the clock tower. Type thing, right? That's what this is. But instead of saying $20, they get their phone, they give you your thumbprint, and now you're putting out, 1,000, 5,000, clearing your bank account, whatever the bank account would do. So yeah, there are weird scams. We've actually first heard about this like in bars where people would actually steal your phone, where they would do the whole Face ID thing where you'd be in a bar, someone would say, oh, let me get your Snapchat, haha, you start flirting up or whatever, and they take your phone, and at that point, then they'll change your passcode, they'll lock you out of Apple ID, they'll change the Face ID, and then they'll have your friend to distract them, or they'll get their friend to distract you, and they'll just walk away with your phone, and they've completely cleared your phone, removed it from Apple ID, it's completely gone, and it's nothing you can do. Nothing you do. It's crazy. So, the scams now they're still kind of like the same slimy, tricky stuff where, you do one click and you're screwed, that kind of thing, but it's on a much more human-to-human level at this point because security's gotten pretty good on the machines for software and for, background processes and malware to be downloaded. And a lot of stuff doesn't really have that anymore from what we're seeing across my bench. I'm seeing less and less and less malware infections on our bench. In fact, it's almost gone to virtually zero from where we were doing, 7 or 8 a week before. So viruses and stuff aren't really the issue now. It's mostly just people falling prey to clicking on something they think was something else, hearing the bank when it's not the bank, buying something that they thought they were buying when they're actually not getting that product, and then something else happens. So it's gross, and that's what's going on out there. Let's see. I have another one here. Let's see. There's a Fiverr transaction. This one is also... it says, your item is officially reserved for purchase. A buying and delivery order for your item is currently being fulfilled by our network. Please press the button below. Press the button right there, it says, to validate your order, and you'll be seamlessly guided to our order information page. Execute the outlined steps on the page. Carefully ensure proper payment for the item you successfully sold. So this is something for like an eBay. This is on Fiverr. But again, you click on this. And the button says attest, ATTEST. So again, you highlight over the link and it doesn't go where it's supposed to go. It's just fake. So there's the links that are coming up now. It's all kind of the same stuff, just in different delivery packages, and it all comes down to the same stuff: handing over your data that they can resell, handing over your phone numbers so they can resell, or simply just getting into the accounts and just taking the money themselves if they want to be really, really, really criminal minded, which some of them are. So. Yeah, just kind of watch for that, I guess, and watch your email, of course. Email is the cesspool, and again, if you're on some other email service that's not Proton Mail or Gmail, I heard they were actually kicking back some of the free features of Proton Mail and making them paid, but then I heard that they actually aren't doing that, so still recommend Proton Mail. Gmail, of course, is the Google overlords, and where are you giving your data to? It doesn't like if, but where. So if you hate Google, fine, go to Proton Mail, that's okay. It just kind of sucks that there's not really an overall place you can go that just kind of takes care of a lot of this stuff. Okay, so let's get into some more. So let's see about some current events going on here. That's kind of the last bit I want to talk about scams because gross. Let's see what else we've got here in our packet of goodness. So we talked a little bit about Apple. We might find out next week. Well, actually, probably not next week. But most likely, we're going to be hearing about things like this creaseless folding MacBook. What is up with that? 20.2-inch folding display that LG is developing for Apple. What? So there is someone from International Securities. Again, like right now, this is some product that's being developed, and we probably won't know anything about it until 2026. So like maybe a year and a half, 2 years from now, right? And what is this product? Like, what is it? Like, I don't know. How did we hear about it? How did it get leaked? You're like, well, it usually comes like way, way, way down the line. So like this person worked in a factory that was starting to receive orders for these displays, and a lot of orders for them. And so then they, kind of go back and they look at the company. The company has then been fed by another company. That company has been fed by another one that's then been fed by Apple. And so you go, whoa. So someone sitting on some factory floor somewhere is going like, what are these displays? What are these products? This is weird. What are we manufacturing now? And did a little bit of digging and found out, hey, this might be coming from Apple. Now, granted, this could be, this says they're working on this folding laptop. Now, they work on a lot of stuff that doesn't come to fruition. But can you imagine a foldable MacBook screen that's the entire thing is a screen? I guess you're typing on the screen. Typing on an iPad keyboard sucks. So I'm curious what they're going to do with that. But the screens alone could cost as much as $250 to manufacture, right? As well as the screens, the body of these could cost $250, while the screens could cost as high as $650 to manufacture. We're not talking about the purchase price of these. We're talking about the manufacturing costs of these things that then, of course, doesn't get passed to you. It gets doubled or, multiplied in some amount. So it's going to be more than that just for the screen. So not really sure where they're going to go with it, or if I guess the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office granted the company patents on a foldable phone with a waterfall screen design and a foldable device with a display with self-healing properties. It says the patent mentions phones, but also foldable tablets and laptops as well. So weird. Might want to watch for that, see what's coming up. But I doubt anything will be announced a week from now. It most likely will be announced sometime probably next year or so if they even decide to move forward with it, if it works. Kind of weird. Also, another thing, just real quick, just to throw it out there tech-wise, Best Buy says they had their 10th straight quarter of sales drops based on weak electronic spending. So 10 quarters, that would be 2.5 years, right? So we're talking about like maybe last quarter of 2021 or first quarter of 2022, something like that. But they've had a sales decline. Best Buy is one of the last retailers that we have. If I wanted to go and just test out a product or look at something or whatever, like physically in the store, Best Buy is one of the last places to go. We've gotten rid of the Good Guys, the Circuit Cities, all those type of places that we used to all go to. There's not a lot out there to just look at new electronics or whatever. And a lot of people aren't buying them that way. They go online, they look at YouTube videos, they figure out what they like, what they want to do, and then they see the reviews and they just order it from wherever, Amazon, directly from the manufacturer, wherever they're doing it from. But I don't know, they say the demand trends for electronics are the same. But again, they figure that everything is kind of going down. Of course, but they do a lot of high-end stuff, like their Magnolia Hi-Fi stuff, where they're, they said the Best Buy was one of the first among top U.S. retailers to see a slump in demand when inflation hit decades high in 2022, and they cut back on big-ticket expenses. Those looking to buy high-end flat-screen TVs in the current market have to shell out anywhere between $1,099 and $5,799, and about $1,499 for the smart front-load washing machines. The analysts have said that the rise of artificial intelligence may have delayed purchases for some higher-income shoppers awaiting upgraded laptops with AI features. No, no one is waiting for a laptop with AI. No one is. There's a couple people that are like developing AI, and I'm sure that they would like say that to make it sound like that. No client that I have talked to, and I'm going to say this kind of with certainty, that no one is looking forward to this AI stuff. It's terrible. In fact, recently I saw something online that summed it up pretty well. That said, basically, let me see if I have the quote here. Yeah, computer scientists said we have invented a virtual dumb, stupid, we'll say something else, who is constantly wrong. And then tech CEOs go, let's add it to every product. And that's what's going on right now. Even I'm sure you've experienced in some way where you have some type of virtual assistant that doesn't help. And, even with the human assistants sometimes not helping, have a virtual assistant even be even less helpful is not the thing that would really, quell my inner anger for the product that I'm having problems with or need my tech support with or whatever. So you have to jump through an extra hoop to get past the AI person to get to a real human to actually solve your problem a lot of times. So I don't know. I Best Buy, it would suck to not be able to run down and get a hard drive if I forgot to order one or something. That would be no good. But retail everywhere is kind of having a hard time. But then again, also everything is twice as expensive, 2.5 times the cost of what it was. So yeah, I used to buy solid state drives. When they came down in price, you buy a 1 terabyte solid state drive for $45 or $55. Now you're looking at that same drive, it's $100. Nothing's changed. Chips aren't any better. There's nothing different than it was last year or the year before. The solid state drives have gotten a little bit faster, but they're in the same box, the same form factor and everything. They're just twice as expensive. It sucks. It sucks on a lot of levels. But I don't have to tell you that because you're out there living it too. So let's see. Microsoft is also boasting that all of Microsoft's machines that they're coming out with, these new Surface Pros that are coming out with the new Qualcomm Snapdragon processors to take down the ARM processors that are built into the MacBooks. All the M1, M2, M3 processors are called ARM processors. They're SoC processors as well, system on a chip processors. But Microsoft's like, hey, our stuff is beating them. So they say they're beating them in raw performance, they're beating them in real performance, battery life and efficiency, NPU performance. Let's see. NPU. What is NPU? I don't even know what NPU stands for. Let's look it up together. NPU performance. Even the computer man sometimes says, I don't know what that is. NPU performance is... AI stuff. Okay. So NPU is Neural Processing Unit, a specialized piece of hardware designed to optimize the performance of tasks related to artificial intelligence and neural networks. Okay, cool. So that's all about taking that. And I'm sure you guys have all seen that as well. When you start doing Google searches, you're starting to see these AI prompts at the very top. Now, some of it's okay, but it's shooting ourselves in the foot because the AI prompts that are coming up on these searches are being fed from websites of people who write websites, right? So if you did a search and you were looking for some information about you're looking up some lake statistics or something, I don't know, and someone wrote an article for the National Weather Service about this lake. Well, if you do a Google search for it, theoretically the AI is going to go scour the internet real quick, find that article theoretically, pull the data from the article and display it right on your Google search, rather than you getting the website where the article has the data in it, and then you click on the website, which then gives that page a view, right? Gives it a click. It's skipping that. So now it's just going back into the AI prompt, and that website is no longer getting clicks. If it's not getting clicks, it's not getting ad revenue. If it's not getting ad revenue, it's not making any money. If it's not making any money, it probably won't be around much longer. And that's how a lot of these websites are going. So we're getting AI prompts that are feeding from websites that exist, but then we are no longer clicking on those websites, theoretically, if you're just reading the prompt, and therefore not getting the clicks on those websites. So therefore, those websites will go away. So we'll just have more garbage websites to pull from, or outdated information that the AI will feed us, telling us that that's the answer when sometimes it's not. I used this example a couple weeks ago about there was a top 100 places in Vegas to visit. And one of them was this ghost town. And evidently to drive out to the ghost town, it takes, let's say, an hour. And this one guy said, I drove out to the ghost town and did a whole article about this ghost town and how it took an hour to drive out there. Something happened. There was a windstorm. Something happened or whatever, and the road is no longer that road. They had to make a new road to go to the ghost town. It went around something else. And so now that road cut 8 minutes off the trip to the ghost town. So now instead of being an hour, it's actually 52 minutes. If you do a search for how long it takes to get to the ghost town on Google, it'll tell you it takes an hour to get there, pulling the data from that antiquated old article. Now, if you go onto Google Maps and actually do the trip from Vegas to the ghost town, it says it takes you about 45 to 50 minutes. And yeah, that's right. So they're pretty close, right? But the idea is that the AI was pulling from the article that is now outdated. The article, yes, it's not like telling you wrong information. It's just saying it takes a little bit longer than it does to get out there. But it's the AI reading that information and then dropping it on you like facts, that's what it is now, and that's what it is, and that's your answer. When in fact, there's a whole new other road, and it takes you about 15 minutes less, and there's other things that are, blah, 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 blah. So again, inconsequential information, big deal, 15 minutes, whatever. But it leads you to think, how are we going to do this in the future? And where's the data going to come from? So going back to this, Microsoft is really stoked about their Surface Pro or Surface tablets and their new Surface machines that have the ARM processors in them. I am very curious to see how they will go in the future, because there was a reason why we didn't go to ARM back 15 years ago. The technology sucked, and those processors did really well at what they were supposed to do, because they're loaded in like PlayStations. Like a PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3 uses an ARM processor that's designed to do very specific processing. That's it. So I'm curious to see how they've done this. I'm curious to see how Qualcomm has created the Snapdragon chip in order to completely surpass and bypass Intel or AMD. And I'm curious kind of if Apple is making their processors, those M chips, and now Microsoft is going to be buying their processors from from Qualcomm. The Snapdragon is the name of the processor. What's Intel doing? Where are those chips going? Are they still being made for stuff? Are there still going to be Intel-based chips? Or still going to be Intel-based computers? Is that going to be like an older style computer? I don't know. The future's uncertain for that stuff, and it's just right now MacBooks are really good, and the M processors are awesome. They're fast. They run cool. You can buy an M1 processor that's 2.5 years old, and it still smokes, like just rocks. It's really good. I don't know. Be interesting to see where things go, because I'm not really sure. I'm just really curious to see if these processors are going to be garbage or not. They're saying they're not, but I'm curious to see about how they're going to, how am I going to load up things when I install an operating system? How am I going to load up things when I do other things? How is it going to run? How is it going to work? I'm very curious. So, okay, let's see what else we've got here. Also, so iOS 18's coming. We haven't heard exactly what's going to be in there, but everything on the WWDC, this Worldwide Developers Conference that Apple's going to be posting out, is most likely going to just be AI down your throat. AI. And I'm already tired of it. I'm already tired of hearing about it. I'm tired of how AI has just been incorporated into everything. It doesn't work very well. It does some cool stuff, and there are a lot of cool things you can do with AI, but again, it's the opposite of what a lot of people did. What a lot of people wanted. Like, hey, look at AI's making art. AI's making music. You're like, bro, I want AI to do my dishes so I can make music. I want AI to mow my lawn so I can do art. I want AI to do the things that I don't want to do so that I can do the things that I want to do, not have AI do the things that I want it to do, right? So it's weird. It's a weird system right now. But iOS 18 and iPad OS 18 are coming out. Evidently, they're going to change around the settings app again, because the settings app is all different in the new Ventura operating system. Thanks. Super cool. They're saying it's more streamlined. Stop changing the settings page. When I get onto a computer, it depends on which operating system I'm on, and I have to snap my brain to 5 different organizations to get through the settings to find what I'm looking for in front of the customer. And if I can't, I kind of feel like a moron because I'm digging through. I don't know where this is. Let me see. And they're like, well, can you really fix it if you don't know where the stuff is? I would know where it was if Apple stopped moving it all over the place. And that's my complaint. Okay, but evidently the Apple's settings are going to organize its various categories. But there is no way that Apple can create an ideal setup that'll please everyone. It's just not going to happen. We all interact with settings differently, and depending on how our device habits are, that's how it rolls. So, I don't know. There might be something where the setting starts moving around based on personal use, which is awesome. If they're going to start doing that, and I say awesome as in no, please don't do that, because if I get on one person's phone looking for something and it's different in their settings page than it is from another person's phone, that's going to be maddening to find something, unless you just use the search feature, and which I hope you know the exact term of the feature you're looking for. Otherwise, you won't be able to find it. I don't know. But it basically sounds like the settings will receive a fresh UI refresh on all platforms, an improved search, and perhaps most significantly, a reorganization of its various settings categories. Yawn. Moving on. Anyway, so Xbox is also talking about to embrace Windows integration and serve as a reference device. Evidently, the next Xbox will feature a strong Windows integration instead to act as a reference device for manufacturers, similar to how the Surface Pro serves as a reference for all AI PCs. Weird. That's super weird. So it's basically going to be a heavy Windows slant on it, suggesting that the next Xbox will offer deeper integration with Windows operating systems and could lead to a more unified ecosystem between gaming consoles and PCs. Dude, they've been trying this since the beginning of the Xbox. Xbox is owned by Microsoft. You guys are already there. You guys have the Microsoft operating system. You remember back in the day when they said, oh, Xbox games, you can put them in your CD-ROM drive and play them on your computer. And that worked, kind of. Remember, you could say, oh, you can put an Xbox controller on your computer and it'll work. Remember, that kind of worked, kind of. Like, I can still connect an Xbox controller to my computer. Is it super straightforward? No. Do you need extra hardware that you kind of have to find and have to buy from China and stuff? Sometimes. It's not great. But, I don't know, this reference device for all their AI PCs. It sounds like Microsoft's trying to do the same thing that Apple's doing, which is all just based on stupid capitalism. The iPad is your touch device. That's an iPad as a companion to your MacBook. That's why we don't make touchscreen MacBooks, because the iPad is your touchscreen, and your MacBook will be your more tactile feed. So I have to buy both. Is what they're saying, or that's what they want you to do. Buy more stuff, and it sounds like that's what Apple or Microsoft's doing too with their stupid. I'm sorry. With their Surface Pro. I don't like the Surface Pros. If I was like a business human and I was given a Surface Pro by my business and said, here's your computer, great. I don't ever have to service it. If it breaks, I can just give it back to IT and they'll give me another one. And they're great for that. But to own it as like just an end user and then to have something fail on it, you're buying a whole new machine. There's nothing to fix in there. Nothing. Your button doesn't work, new machine. Your screen breaks, new machine. You have your hard drive fail, new machine. Just there's nothing to fix in there. It's just an all-in-one thing. So again, this companion. So you're going to buy an Xbox as a companion, which acts as a reference device, which implies that all incoming consoles will serve as a model for other manufacturers. Maybe that means that it could mean that Xboxes will set a standard for high-performance gaming devices, influencing the design and capabilities of future gaming hardware. No, I don't think so. Like the ROG Ally, the Asus ROG Ally, is a gaming-focused machine that has high-end specs, but is the ROG Asus device going to read from this? I don't think so. So weird. I don't know. And Microsoft is all about just taking out MacBooks. That's all they want to do. That's all they want to go. So let's go throughout there. Oh, also, if you have a Ticketmaster account, I'm going to give you a new reason to hate Ticketmaster, because they literally had 500 million users and their data up for ransom right now. So they were hacked. This group called Shiny Hunters claimed it cracked the Ticketmaster system and accessed some 1.3 terabytes of user data, which include names, addresses, credit card numbers, phone numbers, and payment details on top of the credit card numbers. Evidently, this company contacted Ticketmaster and said, hey, we did this. We hacked you. We have everything. Ticketmaster gave them a big middle finger and said, we don't care. And so they said, fine. Anyone who wants it, $500,000. It's up on the dark web. We will sell it to you right now. So if you have purchased anything on Ticketmaster ever, and still have current details, current payment details, current credit cards on there, change your stuff, change your password, or maybe make sure that you watch your credit card over the next few months, because even Ticketmaster came out and said, well, we don't, the things that were released were only the name, phone numbers, and email addresses, but in that data grab. But if you look at the terms and conditions and the privacy policy, it shows a far wider spectrum of what they can take from users through the individual apps that Ticketmaster uses, because we know how upright and upfront Ticketmaster is. They're a really stand-up company, right? No. But also, if you hate Ticketmaster, just to give you a little pep in your step, they are facing a massive antitrust lawsuit filed by the Department of Justice and 30 state and district attorney generals on Thursday. So they're looking at other stuff that they have to deal with. But of course, this giant billion user, 500 million user, $500,000 ransom, inconsequential, no big deal. They'll just walk their way from it. So Okie dokie. Well, now that all that positivity's been thrown out there, let's go to break real quick. We're going to hear from some important underwriters just for a moment, and then we're going to get back to some email questions I've got from all you lovely listeners out there. If you have any questions that you'd like to read on the Computer Man Show here on KSQD Santa Cruz, hit me up, Luigi, Luigi, at ksqd.org, and we'll answer your question on the air. Of course, I'll write you back and everything first, and we'll talk about it and get you fixed, and then we'll probably read it through and just add it to my list here. But yeah, don't go anywhere. We're going to do our underwriting good stuff here, and then we'll be back with some computer questions here on the Computer Man Show on KSQD Santa Cruz, K-Squid, 90.7 FM, and online at ksqd.org. Stick around, and we'll be right back.
KSQD thanks maca.us.com for underwriting this program. Ever wonder what happens to a MAGA hat if you remove the tail of the G? It becomes a MACA hat. Make America conscious already. Make American courts accountable. Make autos combust alcohol. Make America care, amigo. More information at maca.us.com. Remember, your vote counts. Thank you, maca.us.com, for supporting Community Radio K-Squid.
Hello there, Santa Cruz. It's Dr. Dawn. Have you missed me? Don't worry, your old friend hasn't gone away. I've only moved next door to Thursday at 6 p.m. on KSQD. So come on over, and we'll have a comfortable chat about whatever ails you, as my grandma used to say. Also, maybe scientific discoveries, health politics, health policy, and answers to your questions and comments about all of the above. So remember, 6 p.m. at Thursday is the new time for Ask Dr. Dawn.
My name is Luigi Opido, owner-operator of Pleasure Point Computers and the host of the Computer Man Show, a 1-hour call-in show Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Viruses, slowdowns, scams, and updates. Computers can be a pain, and I'll help you through it.
Send me an email with your request. If it's hardware you want, baby, I'm the best. I'm the computer.
If it has an on switch, we'll probably talk about it on the Computer Man Show Tuesdays at 6 p.m. only on KSQD 90.7 FM Santa Cruz.
Get into a computer. Hi, I'm Bobby Bishop, host of Be in the Night, bringing you the best I can with jazz, love songs, and soul. Join me on Tuesday evenings from 7 to 10 p.m., playing the classics straight ahead and introducing you to the latest artists and composers. That's Tuesday nights from 7 to 10 p.m. right here on listener-supported KSQD 90.7 FM, Santa Cruz.
I love jazz. And I'm sure you do too, but there's no better way and no better place to pick up some jazz than here at KSQD and ksqd.org with Bobby B with Be in the Night coming up at 7 o'clock. Stick around, let all this computer stuff ooze out of your ears. It's important. It's important. Jazz in your life is good. All right, and also every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 7 to 10, we do have some amazing jazz programs. But tonight, Bobby B coming up at 7 o'clock. All you got to do is leave that radio on and let it happen. Welcome back to the Computer Man Show here on KSQD Santa Cruz, K-Squid, 90.7 FM, and online at ksqd.org. We're going to get into some email questions. My packet, I'd say it gets thinner, but it doesn't. So keep emailing me. Keep emailing those questions. Got a lot of them. And let's dive into it for the next 20 minutes or so. All right, here we go. It says, I've noticed some apps take volume priority over others. On my Windows machine, is there any way I can choose which apps have priority? That's interesting. So when I play certain games, I know sometimes they make the music I'm listening to quieter, and when a loud sound plays, which is cool, since it makes it more immersive. However, some games I play don't do that, and I'd like to enable that if possible. Is there any way for me to do that? Google has not helped me. And so first of all, curious if you're playing through your monitor or through your TV. A lot of times, a lot of monitors with built-in speakers or TVs with built-in speakers will have something called dynamic sound. Philips was big on that, where they'd have, in certain states, it's okay for the commercial to be like 1.5 or 1.25 times louder than the television show. So that if you get up and walk away and get a snack, or actually I think it started in Britain when people get up to make tea during commercials, they'll make the commercials louder, so when you're walking away you can still hear them, which is just awful. But there should be a dynamic range thing if you have if that's built into your monitor, to your television, to your display unit. There's also something called But yeah, if you set your dynamic range to high or dynamic range to max, that will give you that same feature of making things louder than should be and quieter than others things that should be. There's also something called ear trumpet from Google. It's not from Google, but if you Google the term ear trumpet, it will allow, it allows also, it's an application that allows various levels of volume for different applications. You can also try right-clicking the volume control icon on the bottom right-hand side of your computer on your PC. And then open the volume mixer for the applications and the options, and you can do a slider adjust for individual applications. That might not be exactly what you're looking at. I think it sounds like you want to do different dynamic ranges inside the application as you're playing, which then would go back to my first thing. But if you want to just drop maybe your game down and have your music playing like on YouTube louder, that would then be in the volume mixer where you can actually control those volumes individually. Yeah, good question. Okay, this is interesting. Says, stumbled across this on an insecure website on my phone. Just noticed it. Curious when this was added. Safari has blocked access to this page. It's actually on their iPhone. So I actually looked this up. This person went to a website on their phone, and it says this big red thing. It says Safari has blocked access to this page, which I've never seen on my phone. And I go to a lot of weird websites trying to get scams to work and all that kind of stuff. But evidently, this feature has been around for a few years. If you go into your settings and then go under Safari and then go to fraudulent website warning, most likely you already have it on. So if you scroll down here to Safari, which is about halfway down on your settings page on your iPhone, and then you go further down and you look for fraudulent website warnings, which is about the third section, and it should just be toggled on. And what that'll do is if it's a fraudulent website, if it's been registered as a fraudulent website, it'll pop up with a warning. If the SSL certificate, the secure socket layer certificate for HTTPS expires, you'll see that little warning pop up. It's kind of doesn't really work. Well, I mean, it works, but I mean, you won't see. I've never seen it. I personally have never seen it because a lot of the websites I go to have good secure SSL certificates, no big deal. And a lot of times, even if it pops up on a good site, it doesn't necessarily mean that there's something wrong with the site. Just an expired certificate for that day. Rare occasions, it'll actually be infected somehow, but for the most part, it's just saying that it's mostly a certificate monitor, to be honest, is from what I can read. So, but yeah, that's a feature that's been out, and that website seems to have been weird, whatever you went to. So maybe check it the next day and see if it's working again, because most likely something got updated and you're most likely back. Okay, another good question. Let's see what else we got here. This was interesting. This person has an older Google Home that's not connecting to their network. Google Homes are those little speakers, the smart speakers. The very first one, I kind of like that slanty front. That's probably over 10 years or older now. It says I have a Google Home Mini, which is a newer one, and also regular Google Home, which is the older one, and some Nest Audio stuff. Anything with Nest is within the last 5 years. Let's see. A while ago, I changed my Wi-Fi bandwidth to optimize my network, and after that, only Nest devices can connect to the networks. Usually, Nest devices are Wi-Fi 6 or below, or have all the other older protocols, but an older device might not have newer Wi-Fi protocols, just to let you know. Google Home devices were reset, and I've tried everything, but it always ended up with them being unable to connect to the Wi-Fi network. At some point, I thought I had chosen a channel that's not compatible with older devices. You can change the channel inside your router. I think it's from 0 to 12. And it basically varies the megahertz of that 2.4 or 5 gigahertz signal to kind of vary it a little bit to kind of go in line with others. Kind of like if you had the carpool lane was completely open, but all the lanes of traffic are stuck, you could then take your car into the carpool lane and get access. Kind of the same thing if there's a bunch of traffic, if you're in a really noisy apartment with a lot of Wi-Fi, you can change your channel of signal, and it's still 2.4 gigahertz or 5 gigahertz, but it changes the channel variance just a little bit so it can kind of go underneath or over some of the noise. So anyway, at some point I thought I chose a channel that's not compatible with older devices, but that wasn't the case. My older Google Home devices seem to end their life as paperweights. So talk back and forth, and evidently they have a brand new Unify access point. Unify is done by Ubiquiti. Ubiquiti is an incredible, awesome company that does amazing networking stuff. Like their networking stuff is so good, you set it and forget it, and most times it just stays on. It'll fix itself a lot of times if there's an issue. They're incredible devices. They are the device to have if you're going to get something like that. But this person had their Unify access point, which was an AC Pro, which is one of the latest versions of Internet Protocol: 802.11a, 802.11b, 802.11g, 802.11n, and there's like N+, there's all these other ones, and then Wi-Fi 6 and all these different things that come out. But with this, they said that they changed their setting to only WPA2, and suddenly the Google Home devices could connect. Right now we're on WPA3 or AES, or it could be WPA3, AES, or TKIP. Those are the protocols right now that routers are using to have higher level encryption when you pass your password through, or even when you're connecting to the router. And it's just security, just a higher level of encryption and the latest level of encryption to allow security. And it seems like the Google Home devices needed an older version and wouldn't allow connection to the brand new one. And a lot of times these routers, when you have a router, will not only broadcast that latest protocol, but will also broadcast older protocols in case you have older devices. But it seemed like this wasn't the case. So the person says, I felt certain this was the solution to the problem, could not find a single hint on the internet. Only people saying that Google made this on purpose to sell more devices. Hopefully someone else will see that this isn't the case. Don't throw away a perfectly good device. And then I've also experienced that some of the smart plugs and other random Internet of Things devices that I have, little things like smart plugs or smart switches that have issues with different TP-Link systems, etc. Either completely failed to connect or would randomly disconnect until WPA3 was turned off. So there's some of these programs or some of these items maybe aren't paying. And again, I'm not exactly sure how this works, but I think IEEE, you have to pay for those protocols in order for those to be allowed. The protocols then get, you say, hey, I'm a company, I have this product, and IEEE says, great, pay us $1,000 and you get to use this protocol in your system. And they go, okay, I don't want to do that. I don't have $1,000. See you later. And so they just don't add the latest thing. They add one that's older to save money or something, right? Something. But a lot of these systems, or they don't have the physical hardware in them to allow WPA3 to be passed through them no matter what firmware update they get. So therefore, they just don't work. So again, force WPA, if you get a device, and this is, again, pretty weird stuff, but if you have a device that you all of a sudden update something and something stops working, it may just mean that the languages don't communicate and they won't get that handshake that they need. So that one's a weird one. That one's pretty unique. But again, it's all about that one little step and that one thing that isn't talking that just knocks everything out. And this one was WPA. So WPA, I actually am not sure what that stands for. I asked myself a question. What does WPA stand for? All these acronyms, I can remember some of them. It is not the Works Progress Administration. I mean, it is, but let's see, Wi-Fi. Let's see what that means. Wi-Fi Protected Access. Womp womp. So that's all it is. Just a protocol for encryption. All right, moving along. Excuse me. Is 72% solid-state drive health low? Okay, so I went to store my 6-month-old laptop and had made some... I went to a store, to sell my 6-month-old laptop. They made some tests and showed that the solid-state drive's health is at 72% and needs to be replaced, which will cost about $90. And they lowered the price they wanted to give the laptop, pay the laptop, purchase the laptop from the person. The person refused, left the store, took their laptop with them. They didn't know much about storage health. Was the person at the store right, or just tried to lower the price? So we've actually talked about this, I believe. I think this one might be recursive or might be similar to something else we talked about. 72% on a solid-state drive isn't bad. 72% in 6 months? What are you doing? Are you a digital, movie maker that's moving gigs of data back and forth? Because solid-state drives have a finite amount of read-write to them, and they know when that read-write will collapse, when it'll fail, or when it will stop. And so the solid-state drives have kind of like an end of life built into them that's sometimes 10, 15, 20 years for normal end users. But if you're a big movie person and I'm not saying just movies like downloading movies, I'm talking about like shooting raw footage and then taking that footage, copying it from one medium to your phone, and then copying it from the phone to the computer, copying it from the computer to something else, and moving the data in and out of the solid-state drive. That would kind of knock it out kind of quick. But more likely, that would indicate a problem with the drive. I tested some of my solid-state drives. My oldest solid-state drive is about 5 years old, I think, that I'm using currently. And that solid-state drive basically just hit 80%. So, and I use it on a machine that's on almost every day. So if yours at 6 months is 72%, I don't know. And my solid-state drives are probably going to be good for another 3 years. But based on that smart status of that drive, that's what it's reading by. And smart status is one of the best things that's out there for computers, especially if you're buying machines, or even if you're just trying to fix them. I look at smart status as one of the first things that we talk about. And we've talked about this a couple times on past shows, where if you don't have, I mean, it's the whole, like, you bought I'm going to go back to cars again. I know it's always. Now, you bought a brand new McLaren, $1 million McLaren, let's say, and you're going to go and you're, oh man, and you had $1,010 in your bank account or something. So you spent $1 million and you have $10 left over and you're like, oh my gosh, this McLaren is awesome, but I bought, and there was a discount, $1 million McLaren, and it didn't have the right tires on it. All I have is $10. So I'm going to go buy $10 worth of used garbage tires at the store, and then I'm going to go to the drag strip. I mean, this is ridiculous. But now you're at the drag strip, you're on your $10 tires, which are garbage, and you're in your $1 million car that can do crazy speeds. So you go to the drag strip, you take off, and the tires explode at like 65 miles an hour, and you only went 65 miles an hour. You're like, this car should do like 190 miles an hour. Why is it only doing 60 miles an hour? You're like, well, because your weakest link was your tires. If you had good tires, all the rest of the stuff would work properly. Same thing with a hard drive. If the hard drive is not communicating properly with the rest of the computer, you're going to hate life. And that computer is going to be slow. It's going to go as fast as it can, right? Fast as that item can go. So if you're at your weakest link, and that's where it is, that's the bottleneck, the entire system is going to be bound to that speed. So SMART stands for self-monitoring, analysis, and reporting technology. And it's one of the first things I check on any machine coming in my shop. This machine is slow. Okay, let's check the hard drive. Oh, this machine's doing a little weird things. Check the hard drive. It's randomly shutting off on me. Check the hard drive. First thing I do. It's not the only thing I do, but it's the first thing. Because if I see a hard drive that's failing, I can put new operating systems and run all sorts of software and turn things off and get rid of things and change things around until I'm blue in the face, and it's not going to change anything because that's not the problem. The problem is the seek time on the hard drive has gotten bad, which will then read as a lower SMART score and tell me that the hard drive needs to be replaced. So, yeah, it's basically this standard for technical drive information that all of us should be able to use, and you can use it yourself if you go to crystaldiscinfo.com or search for Crystal Disk Info on a PC, Drive DX on a Mac. Both those machines, both those pieces of software will read the intricate levels of data that's on that chip that produces the SMART status report. Again, multiple utilities on a PC. Crystal Disk Info is the easiest and most straightforward. But if you're gonna try to figure out what's going on with the machine, especially if it's slow, that's the first thing to look at. And so with the solid state drive, going back to your actual original question, I think your solid state drive probably has an issue. I would ask if I get a low reading like that from one program, I usually try to run another program just to double check. But this guy probably was running the software that he likes, and he said, hey, your hard drive's getting a little tired, so couldn't buy it because he'd have to replace it. Good question. Actually, a lot of good questions tonight. Okay, so let's see. Another one. Microsoft Authenticator randomly approves requests. Oh, random approve requests. Excuse me. Says I've been having issues with a random sign-in request comes through where they ask if I'd like to approve a sign-in request from T8BHD or ABD82. Just totally random things. And then I go to my account to see it shows that there's no recent sign-ins. What do I do? How do I get it to stop? Say, well, I don't know if you're gonna be able to get it to stop. But it likely means your email was part of some huge data breach, kind of like we talked about with Ticketmaster and stuff. So someone got a hold of your username and password via the leak, is trying to log in, but you have two-factor authentication turned on, and so they can't. So best thing to do is change your password because they're not going to be able to get into that second part. But if you can, go into your aliases under the Microsoft account. Don't remove any aliases if you have any, but add one. And make that one the only one to sign in. So if I have an old email address, nuclearbacon@hotmail.com. I literally started that email address in September of 1993, right? Like when Hotmail was like brand new, and I still have it. So that email address is old, and it's gone through the whole ebb and flow of getting a lot of junk, and then me not using it, and then getting no junk, and then me using it again and getting a whole bunch of junk. If I go into that account and I set up an alias for some other email address, so granted the nuclearbacon@hotmail.com exists still, but I make an alias like Luigi's Awesome Email at hotmail.com, and I make that the alias and make that the only one that I can sign into, then if I go and try to sign in with nuclearbacon at hotmail.com, it will always deny that and only allow me to sign in with Luigi's Awesome Email at gmail.com or Luigi's Awesome Email at hotmail.com, whatever I called it just now. But it'll only allow me to sign in with that. And that way it's kind of a workaround that therefore if someone has your email address and they want to sign in with Microsoft, they can't because they don't have your alias, and that alias is the only one that's able to sign in. Now, granted, you forget that you have an alias, you'll drive yourself crazy trying to sign into your email address because you can't, because you've now taken away the rights to sign into your email address with that email address. You have to do the alias. But again, if you're going through this and you even know how to get to the alias part, you probably can remember, and that's what it is. So it's a weird one, but that would also thwart any other inference in something like this. But mostly it's just it now, because you have two-factor authentication set up, it's just an annoyance and a nuisance. Yeah. Okay, let's see. Okay, let's go through those. Let's see. Oh, this is good. How do I get chocolate out of an SD card? I get randomly, I'll get machines that come to the shop, and they will have, I don't know, they'll have like pieces and parts of food, or they'll have, random stuff shoved into the speaker holes and stuff. How do I get that out? Or they'll have like one guy brought me like his battery, kind of like this SD card, and it was coated in some type of floury, sugary something on the battery contacts. I'm like, how? How did you take the battery out in the kitchen and then drop it in your food? I mean, I don't know. Obviously something happened, but I don't know how it happened. So what do you do? How do I get chocolate out of an SD card? It says I was eating a croissant and got chocolate in my SD card on the pins. What's the best way to get it out? Okay. Best way to get it out, something like that, is to never, anytime we're applying fluids, never, ever, ever apply them to the actual device. Always apply them to the cloth or the cleaning utensil that you're then going to clean the device with. That way you won't get water or liquids or isopropyl alcohol or whatever else you're using into the things that aren't supposed to be. So best thing to do, isopropyl alcohol and a toothbrush. Spray the isopropyl. If we all have hand sanitizer, a lot of it's now most of it is isopropyl alcohol, 70%, 90%. If you get some isopropyl alcohol, spread it on that little toothbrush and just lightly just spin it away. The alcohol will not be conductive as water is conductive, or the minerals inside water is conductive, and that way you'll be able to clean it. It should just come right off. Chocolate in a SD card. That's interesting. Food gets everywhere. We're eating over this stuff constantly. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, we've reached the end of another Computer Man show. I'm always stoked to hear from you all. If you want to email me, Luigi, Luigi @ksqd.org. Remember to tune into the Computer Man Show Tuesday nights, 6 to 7 p.m. here on 90.7 FM, K-Squid, KSQD. I'd like to thank all my listeners and my callers. Thank you, KSQD, Sandy Stone, Harold Felstein, Richard Gibbon, David Kibrick, John Santa Jala, Santa Cruz, Nick Tesla, The Waz, Mr. Gacy, Torvalds, and of course, the humble Electron. Thank you again, Santa Cruz. I'm your Computer Man here on KSQD Santa Cruz, K-Squid, 90.7 FM, and KSQD.org. I hope you all... Actually, stay tuned right here for Be in the Night. I hope you all have a positively charged evening. Until next time.